We are live. Wait, does it look like an L there? Live. There we go. Live and direct. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the Keeper's Corner, where Samson's Snakeatorium intersects with Canadian Reptile Adventures. And of course, the Canadian is fucking late. He just popped in right now. He wants to make a grand entrance so we can all see him in his ice baby Canilla Ice looking hoodie with his hat just tilted to the side. Let me go get this prick. Oh, hi, how are you? Nice of you to join us.
How's it going, buddy?
You know, I figured you'd be late, but only because I thought you were doing the smoking snakes session today. Was that what it was originally scheduled for?
That was originally the plan, yes, but you know, life gets in the way sometimes, and some things got switched around at the last minute.
Yeah, well, let that be the last fucking time you do a show during one of my scheduled weekly shows. Okay. Let
it's not like I came onto your shit and started promoting it or anything, or showed up and was like, "Hey,
it doesn't matter.
Come on over here instead." No, I just silently did my thing, and then you got
nice
all
enough to
fucking twisted
join.
about it.
I was nice enough to join so I could be at least number 6 watching you two potheads get high and Cheech and Chong it. That's like so freaking crazy. All right, so listen, we got some cool dudes on the show today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it actually. Should be a nice change.
Way cooler than you. Way cooler than you.
That doesn't take
I'm gonna bring them out. And then we'll chop it up with them. A couple of young men. But they've been doing some damage and they've been around for a while. Shout out to Drop Time Reptiles.
Nice.
Oh, by the way, I got your package.
Oh yeah? You finally got it, did you?
I might even open it today.
Did you notice that I spelt your name correctly? There's actually two layers. If you pull back, the misspelt one is underneath.
Why do you play games for? Like, you're such a child.
Oh, it's so much fun. You get so twisted about it too.
You're obnoxious. You know that? Yeah. I didn't.
It's okay for you to be obnoxious to me on the show, but it's not okay for me to be obnoxious with you in little games in between. Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah, I just do it for the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's only for the show. Okay, it's only for the show. And for the record, Jason. Yo, Brian, you're late again, bro. I have not been late in weeks. I just want to clarify, the shit don't start till I hit the button, so I can't be late. I thought we were clear about this already. But for the record, go check every show for the last week, 2 weeks. I've been on time. I can't say so much.
Well, you're certainly there when the show starts.
Unlike you.
Hey, we started it. It works. Why change it now, man, if it ain't broken?
You are
like I said before, when I show up on time, you're not even sure what to do. It gives you 5 minutes to bash me when I'm not there to defend myself. I get in. I have no idea what the jokes are, and away we go.
No fun. The bashing is fun when you're present. It's a lot more fun when you're here. All right?
That's probably
Listen,
true.
I don't want to hear your mouth anymore. I'm bringing out our guest.
How's it going?
What's going on, gentlemen? Thank you for joining us.
How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good. Doing good.
Excellent.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick, and then I'll shut the Canadian up, and we'll let you guys do some talking.
Yeah, so I'm Josh. I'm Jace. We're brothers, and we are Gen Z Reptiles.
Josh, Jace, Gen Z. We got a lot of that going on right there, huh? All right, so Josh, Jace, who's older?
What do you think?
Take a guess.
Take a guess.
Okay, so this is one of those obvious things. So I would think Jace, but now I'm thinking it's Josh.
Your gut instinct was correct. I'm older.
Yeah. You are?
Yep. I'm 26 and Josh is 19.
Yes, sir.
Wow, you are a baby, Josh. You can't even have a beer.
No.
Fresh shave, baby.
A beer. Oh, a beer. Oh,
I still drink.
no, you don't.
But no, you don't. You're on TV. But you can smoke pot, though, I think, in most of the states.
I don't think so.
Some of them, but
Maybe.
Oh, is it 21? Is it 21 too?
21.
oh yeah, maybe it's 21. Can't do much stuff at 19 anymore, but
You could go fight. You could go fight. You could go fight for our country.
Yeah, that's true.
about
That's
right. Yeah.
Unlike Canada, we have a military.
Fuck,
Oh,
man, I wouldn't want to give him a military at this point in my time.
Yeah, Canada's like 20 in 2022. Canada's the new Russia.
Fuck.
All right, so we got some people here that came to see you guys. Apparently, I guess people like you. Forward Motion Reptiles Gen Z is dope.
thank you, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I had the pleasure of meeting these gentlemen in Arlington, I believe. Correct?
That's
Yep,
correct.
That's right.
Jace, you just got this smile that makes me want to buy something from you.
It's working. We're gonna have
You
to ask here in a couple months, so
You just got this smile that makes me want to buy something. Like, hey, what's available? Take my money. Take my money. But it's the same smile you have in person. It's the same persona that you give off. I did see others come up to you at the show. I was gonna like karate chop that old lady in her neck who was just so rude and acted like I wasn't talking to you at the moment.
that was very rude. Yeah.
It was funny though. It was funny, and then it was just an odd moment. But are you guys used to that? I mean, you guys have social media presence. You have a YouTube channel. If you're not following Gen Z Reptiles, guys, we have their info in the video description below. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. Go check out their Instagram. Make sure you give them a follow. Does it happen a lot at the shows?
So yeah, it's been happening more and more as we do this. So at first, I want to say probably within our first year of doing it, it was mostly pandemic time, so we didn't really have any shows, but that gave us a whole year to build up a little bit of a following. And then when we started going back out to shows, we'll at least have a couple of people reach out here and there. But it seems like more and more each show we have more people that recognize us, which is a pretty cool feeling. Yeah, really cool.
That is a cool feeling. Now you seem to be more. I do all the talking here. That guy, I really don't know why he's my co-host. To be honest with you, I don't. Oh,
Wow.
because it was his idea to do this. That's what it was.
You remember the start of the show where he said he was going to shut me up, right? Let you guys talk. So I sit here quietly. I drink my fucking coffee, and I still get harassed.
Because he's high.
Oh man,
He smokes a lot of ganja. He smokes
What's
a lot
wrong
of
with
ganja.
that?
That's what it is.
ain't nothing
He's
wrong
still
with that.
he's still high from last night's show. That's what it is. All right, so you, Jace, are more of the. Are you more? Would it be fair to say that you're more the face of Gen Z Reptiles?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep, that's it. We've discussed this before, and Josh likes it more doing the behind the scenes stuff, and I'm comfortable being the face of it as well because I did some like acting and theater stuff when I was in high school and college, so I'm up for the entertainment game. I don't mind being the face of stuff.
Yeah, and I like to make sure everything behind the scenes is running smoothly and just help stuff function properly.
Okay. So
Different
it's
skill sets.
two different skill sets. No ego tripping here. That's an awesome thing where you both have found your role. It seems to be working. You put out really clear like content like on
I
your
love
Instagram.
this. I love how that show. I'm trying here. I know this is really bad.
Thank
But
you.
the way it's been dropped so that each one, like, there's no borders. You guys have taken some time to really, clean up the edges. It's really nice. I appreciate it. I think it looks awesome. Kudos to you on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. We worked really hard on that. We spent a lot of time thinking, how do we want to portray ourselves? And we know social media is a very important tool. So we're very intentional with the things that we do. We do a little bit of experimenting, especially with the...
I'm listening. I just woke up.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, we do a little bit experimenting with like the reels and the short clips and stuff like that. But everything else, we're really intentional with the image that we're putting out there.
I like the clean look.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Now I noticed. Now, obviously, I think you guys have 5 digits, and you're into the 5 digits, right? On Instagram with followers.
Yeah, I think
that's
we're
right.
like 33K or something like that.
Yeah, close to
I'm
that.
sorry. What was that? 33. I'm. Yeah, that's really skyrocketed.
33,000. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
about,
shy of
yeah.
33,000, I think.
Okay, awesome. Well, kudos to you for that. How many of those did you buy?
That's funny that you say that.
Well,
because other people thought that as well. But if you scroll down on our reel feed, you'll see 2 videos of ours got like 50 million views.
Yeah, so we had a couple of the reels that went viral, and that helped out a lot. So when you can have at least a couple pieces of content go viral, that really helps the following out big time. Before we had those reels go viral, we were probably sitting at like 2,500 or something followers.
Like 2K, and then within a month we just exploded. It was crazy.
Yeah,
amazing. That is absolutely amazing. That is great to hear. Obviously, it's good. Of those 50 million, how many did you buy? No, I'm just kidding. No, I dig it. There was someone recently that somebody DM'd me, and I make fun of them all the time, and I'm not gonna make fun of them this show. And they went from like 400 followers to 2,500 followers overnight. They've already lost like 800. I'm like, did they not pay their bill? Like, what happened? What happened? All right, so wow, 50 million views. I mean, wow, that's huge. I noticed your content though. You've been changing what you're putting out there. Are you guys working the algorithms?
Yeah, definitely. We're catering towards the algorithms, and also, I guess what kind of acted as a catalyst to get us to explore those is that we ran out of snakes to post with the white backdrop. So we had to get creative with the content that we're putting out, and we saw a lot of other people like Z Reptiles use the reels to grow. I think he had like over 100,000 followers before he just got his Instagram account taken away. But that was definitely a catalyst for us diversifying our content.
And currently they always switch up the algorithm. Reels was a priority at one point, and I believe it is again. I had Portuguese pythons on a Reels show, which is my Bowling with Brian on Thursday. I don't do it with the Bunky Act, and we had discussed that. And the Reels, they were pushing the Reels because the Reels are working the algorithms right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's competing with TikTok for traffic at this point, right?
Yeah. But yeah, we try
and YouTube Shorts.
YouTube Shorts. We're trying that out too. Yeah. Definitely TikTok is the one where you can explode the most, but it seems like with TikTok, our following's not super loyal, I would say. So we have better luck with Instagram. Instagram is probably our most solid platform at this point in time. And then in terms of connections, YouTube has been the best. So a lot of people are like, hey, we watch your YouTube channel, and so it gives us something to talk about.
Awesome. So I just want to shout out K-Town Balls. Every show, Jason gets at least one person that comes here for him. So he's met his quota this week. Congrats, Jason. You did it, man. You're so consistent.
Just on fire today.
What? I just woke up. I'm energized.
It's abusive as fuck, man. Like, we barely even spoken today, and there's just onslaught after onslaught here. Briefly, before he starts yammering on again.
No, you went on a live yesterday during my schedule.
Oh, my God. Such a fucking child sometimes. Have you guys correlated where the majority of your sales come from? Do you track that in terms of your TikTok versus YouTube versus Instagram? Are you tracking that? Have you noticed any trends? Is there any advice you would give to other people looking to focus on one over the other?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess one of the main ways that we've been able to track that is just because on YouTube during the hatchling season, when we're sitting on a bunch of hatchlings, we'll like offer like a 10% discount if they mention they're from YouTube. So I think we've maybe had a few sales from Instagram, 0 from TikTok as far as I'm aware. Yeah, and then a decent amount from YouTube for sure.
Yeah, so YouTube's definitely our best platform for that.
That's where you found the majority of your sales have been generated then.
Yeah, for sure. And it definitely helps out because, well, when we were starting the idea, it was the same idea a lot of other people have. We want to show ourselves, show people that we're actually people and not scammers, and kind of let people follow along with the whole hatching season so they know that the snake that they're getting came from something that we produced. And that's what it was for at the beginning. It really helped out because at some point in time we were getting inquiries on snakes before they were even posted to like Morph Market. So that was really nice for us. That's worked out several times. And we also do like doom rolls, boas. We've sold almost all of our doom rolls via YouTube. We don't even get to the Morph Market part of things just because they sell so fast off of YouTube.
Nice. People are watching the videos and hitting you up before you've had a chance to even post it.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
That's awesome. So do you do what Jason does? Do you raise the price 20% and then say you're giving them a 10% discount?
Wow. Where does this shit even come from?
Is that actually what you do, Jason? Or
He just sits there and abuses me constantly. He knows damn well that's not what happens.
Jason,
No.
I can't replace Jason. I can't replace Jason because if I did, I'd probably like not find someone willing to take this abuse.
Take the abuse, yeah.
Yeah, so what we try to do is put out a fair price at the start, and we have that in our Morph Market bio. The way that we price our animals is to be competitive, but also to keep the project legitimate. We don't want to cut prices or anything to
Bottom out of the market.
Yeah, exactly right. So what we do is we will put a price out there that we think is fair, and then if the snake has been sitting for a certain amount of time, sometimes people will come and make some offers, and if it's reasonable, we'll consider them. But we have no problem sitting on a snake as long as it takes to sell at the price we think is fair and matches the market. Yeah,
Just increase in value, right?
Yeah, exactly
as
right.
it grows. Yeah.
So you guys have found your roles as far as the social media is concerned, which I think is awesome because there could be a power struggle there where, you know, somebody wants more of the camera than the other. And who the hell really, Jace, you're in a good position because who the hell really wants to do the work? All right.
Yeah, I know. I do not take that for granted. Josh, he does.
I hope not. I hope not. Now,
Yeah.
I will say because of that, obviously more people approach you in public. But would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, Jace from Gen Z Reptiles.
Yeah.
Look at him. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But like the good brother he is, he'll tug at you and say, "Hey, get in the picture." I think that that's definitely pretty cool. So you guys have figured that out. Now, how does that transfer over into the other aspects of running a business, such as who chooses or decides what projects you're working on? How do you guys come to price points and whatever other initiatives that you might implement, whether it's marketing, discounts, as you mentioned, etc. Who pretty much, how do you guys decide?
What happens when you have a disagreement?
Yeah, so that's a lot of questions there. So we'll kind of start out by answering. I'll start out with the husbandry side of things because you can't really have a snake business without being organized on that side. So I was a hobbyist for a long time, a big chunk of my life. And so I kind of had the husbandry thing down pat. And what we do at this point in time is we both clean and feed together. I mainly am in charge of the feeding, and Josh definitely helps me with the cleaning. And we also do rodents. So I'd say from that point of view, I do a little bit more hands-on with the cleaning side of things, but Josh is right there with me. And Josh is more of the money-minded guy. And so do you want to talk a little bit about that aspect, how we divvy that up?
And for like pairing. So to go into the pairing aspect of it, Jace is super agreeable, and I'm more of a disagreeable type of person. So essentially for that, I'll just like get a spreadsheet going, do all the pairings, get links to the potential hatchings we can make. And Jace, I don't think there's ever been a time where Jace has disagreed with the pairing. We're pretty reasonable on that aspect.
Well, and I will say too that there's been plenty of opportunities, and I think if it was a different partnership, there could have been issues for sure. But like Josh said, I'm a pretty agreeable guy, and for me, I'm just passionate about the snakes in general. What Josh really brought to the table is the financial sustainability aspect of it. So he's like, we could go for this project, but if we decide to save up or like fork out a little bit more for this project, that could take us so much farther. So a lot of times I'm like, all right, yeah, I definitely see that. And then that helps us gain more capital so that way we can go back and work with even more of what we want.
Yeah. And then in terms of like pricing and snakes for sale, the main way we do that is we'll look at comparable ones that have sold recently with the same or similar genes. So on Morph Market, you can go to the sold tab, or even if there are snakes for sale that are like the exact same or similar on the market, we'll basically match that. Or if it's like our sugar line is like pretty high sugar line, so
pretty high white,
we'll price that higher for sure. But for that aspect of things, Jace pretty much lets me take the wheels on that part just because he trusts my market research.
Yeah, Josh, he spends a lot of time searching Morph Market and understanding the market, and I understand it too. So if there's something I feel like is super off, I would say something, but usually he's pretty spot on with that. But a little bit of a funny backstory on like when we first started, I understand that conflict is super important and it's always going to happen. So you have to have ways to figure it out. So we kind of before we became Gen Z Reptiles. He was getting into the snakes, and I intentionally bashed heads with him on a lot of things just to try to figure out what is our conflict style. And eventually what happens is I understand, for me, I'm more of an emotionally reactive person, which helps out when I'm on camera and stuff like that. It's more entertaining. But Josh is more analytical. So I've had to catch myself and be like, all right, I'm having an emotional reaction to this, and I'm really, there's a lot of resistance here. So you're going to have to give me a little bit of time for that concept to set in, and eventually we'll come around to some sort of an agreement. But if I feel strongly about it after a few days, then I'll be like, hey, this is how I feel. I've given myself this amount of time to think about it, and I'm going to be firm in this stance. Most of the time, though, I'll come around to it, and yeah, he's more of a logical, pragmatic kind of guy. So it's a really interesting dynamic that we have. But yeah, we definitely work through it, and I'm the oldest brother of the family. He's the youngest brother of the family, so that also plays into the dynamic a little bit more. How big is our age gap? It's seven and a half years. So there's enough space in between there too, where I feel like I got to be a good big brother, and there's big enough age gap where I'm like, all right, this is my little bro. He wants to get into this. He's excited about it, and I want to water that seed, keep that sprout growing as much as possible. So that also plays into my agreeableness to a certain extent. But he definitely holds his own in many aspects of this business.
That was such a Gen Z response and explanation. Okay, you guys, I don't know who's worse, you or the millennials.
Oh yeah, what do you mean by that?
Generation Z. Generation Z. Who's worse, Generation Z or millennials?
The baby boomers.
The boomers.
Well, you guys are children, more often than not, you're children of Gen X. That's my generation. My daughter's a Gen Z. So we're really hoping for you guys. We have a lot of hope for you guys, trust me, okay? But I really like how eloquently you expressed yourself, and that you guys actually do put thought into it. I mean, it's beautiful, you're brothers, okay? So you have to have, that loving relationship, but to be able to break it down like that, and now we're falling more towards that analytical side, right? But to be able to break it down like that and conceptualize how to deal with the conflict. I had a meeting, I had to do conflict resolution amongst a couple of employees recently, and the way I broke it down, that all conflict pretty much result or is a result of communication, okay? And it's either a lack of communication, miscommunication, or the method of communication. So for the record, all of you, I am trademarking that. You cannot use it without paying me a fee. But the fact that you're able to break down how you react, it's great to do it. Now to respect it is the other part, where you're having that conflict and you're able to express at that time, and maybe we come back, we talk about it later. I just think that's awesome. And how long have you guys been doing this together now? Obviously, you're young, you're 19 years old. So being that you have more experience, it would only behoove you to take the guidance, because he's already experienced some bumps and bruises and has some tried and true practices in place. So how long have you guys been doing this together?
Yeah, together we've been doing this as a business for 3 years. Jace has been keeping, like he said, for like 17 years. And in between that time, I had a snake or two, but Jace would just take care of them, blah, blah, blah. But
so yeah, Josh has been exposed to the concept, but for most of the time, I would encourage my brothers to get snakes, so that way I could have more snakes that I interact with on a daily basis. So I'm kind of a con artist.
More resources combined.
Yeah, I was like,
you should buy this one and this one, and you should buy this one.
Exactly right. So yeah,
well, that's awesome.
At the end of the day, I would pay for the food. I would take care of them. So that's how it was for the longest time. And then 3 years ago, Josh was 16 years old, and I was
16 years old. I was working some minimum wage fast food job, and I had just been exposed to the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and so I knew I couldn't be saving all my money, the little money that I had from my minimum wage job. I needed to throw it into some type of asset, and so randomly I looked into the snake market. Or Jay said he had a clutch during that time, and he was like, yo, oh my God, I hit like $1,000 snake. And I was like, holy shit, $1,000 snake. I think I need to invest into that. So with the little bit of money I had, that first season, we bought a couple adult females. And to make a long story short, I made like a 5x return in my first year as a little 16-year-old. So yeah.
Wait. I wanna pause right here. Hold on. For those of you that don't know, the title of the book he's quoting is authored by Robert. Say it again.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki. He's a best-selling author. My college roommate, lifelong friend, my first love's cousin actually worked with Robert Kiyosaki and sold his programs. So that was a big part of my life as he and I were going to start a sales training program. It's a lot more to the story, and it'll take up more than our next 30 minutes. So I'm going to leave it there. But the fact that you were 16 years old reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and guys, to sum it up in a sentence, a rich dad teaches his child how to have their money make them money, while a poor dad teaches their child how to work for money. Okay, that's just a quick summation right there. How did you get introduced to this at 16 years old?
That's a great question. I feel like I've always had some type of financial.
Well, I feel like he got a job at 14 working at Dairy Queen, so he's always been motivated by the money. And then at one point in time, you were doing some video game stuff and selling whatever you did.
Yeah, I was selling like virtual items on this video game, and so
just hustling, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. That got me looking into YouTube for more ways to make money, and that was before I was 14, so before I could even work a job. So when I was like 13, somewhere around there, I started watching financial YouTubers and learning about stocks. And I
think somebody probably just name dropped that book in one of the YouTube videos.
Yeah, and ended up buying it on Amazon.
So I just want you to know you got me at Dairy Queen. Okay. I love the vanilla ice cream chocolate dip. I know it's hard to tell with this muscular figure of mine, but you got me at Dairy Queen. Well, kudos to you. That's really good to hear that you started at a young age, and it will be a part of the success and the continued success. So I don't know what this question. We're gonna get to this question in a second. I just want to answer Medusa's Lair, Claire from Medusa's Lair. Brian, have you ever found those last two ASFs? Yes, I mentioned it on last night's show. I was going to bring them out today. I had to chew out. 22 escaped, and all 22 were captured in 3 days. Jason and I have talked about it on previous shows. I have the humane mouse traps, so they just get caught.
What's the running total for escapees at your place now? Because the other one was in the 30s or the 40s, wasn't it?
I think you're trying to make me look bad.
I'm not trying to make you look bad. It just seems to happen a lot for you.
I think that what we should look here.
Now, if you were sending these to me privately and I was calling you out, then I'd say, yeah, I was trying to make you look bad. But you're posting this on Instagram. Well, there it is.
I don't want to hear his mouth. No, talk about it. It's a reality. And the reason why I share this is because I want others not to go through it. And sometimes if you're dealing with many rodents in one tub, you get chew outs. They find a way.
100%.
And this was a lab tub, and it was the very top. I mean, these things must have stood on each other's shoulders. They plotted on me they're gonna die. They're gonna die. All 22 of them are going to die.
Vengeful.
Okay, they're going to die. But after it's happened so many times throughout the years, I made the room escape-proof. So at least they're confined to one room. They only do damage in one room. And with the traps, literally it takes me 2 or 3 days to find a few dozen because they just go into the traps.
They are very effective.
Yeah, they are. So yes, Claire, thank you for asking. I did find them. Now I do have a question for you, gentlemen. And D-Rod wants to know. Hold on. Wait, first of all, Pope is asking, was that pizza or tomato? I don't know I don't know what pizza looks like in Arkansas, but if you're confused between pizza and a tomato, that's scary, buddy.
Definitely
All right.
tomato.
So
No. Yeah.
ask them if they want to eat a Carolina Reaper pepper. What's this all about?
Oh, yeah.
So when it was last Arlington, we were at
Earl's.
Yeah, we were at Earl's place, and who was it that was filming somebody was filming a YouTube
Tarantula
video. Yeah,
Girl.
Deadly Tarantula Girl was filming a YouTube video, and she had Philip from Pack Racks up there, and then somehow he brought up that he had these Carolina Reaper peppers, and so they shouted out to the backyard, and they're like, "Anybody want to try this?" And I didn't know what it was. I was curious. I went up there, and the camera was rolling, and so they're like, "You want to do this pepper challenge?" And I couldn't say no because the camera was rolling, so they handed me a pepper, and there's a few of us out there. The YouTube video is up on our channel. But yeah, it was not a great decision. It was bad, definitely a bad decision. The whole next day was the whole night was horrible. The next day was horrible. So I did the whole pepper because I thought that's what the challenge was, and somebody else did it too. I think most of them, the Deadly Trench Girl took a little bite of it. I wish I would have done that because the amount of Pepto-Bismol tabs that I ate was ridiculous.
Did you drink milk right away, or you just suffered?
Did they have milk?
They didn't have milk, but we drank sweet tea. That does help for a little bit, but the burn just comes back.
For a little bit.
Dude, yeah, I was like burning up a fever that whole next day. It was like Saturday at Arlington and RBC. It was a struggle for sure. It was I'm never gonna do anything like that again. But
So I saw a show on Netflix, a competition. And they actually have levels higher than that. Like,
is that right?
high.
Oh,
And there are people that look forward to competing. They're crying.
I saw that snot pouring out their nose, just like trying to breathe into buckets.
I was literally. It was everything was. I was like praying that I would throw this thing out because it was horrible, man. The heat was just horrendous. Oh, never again.
Well, Earl's a good guy. Actually, I posted a pic with Earl today, and Gavin. So Pope County is asking arm wrestling or rock paper scissors. What are you guys doing when you, and I don't know why he left out all out brawl, but what happens when you guys do have conflict? How do we come to a resolution?
I'll say I'm more of a rock paper scissors kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take whatever they want to do, and I'll beat them at it. So
I love it. That's what I'm talking about, Josh. So Jace, you're the oldest brother. Josh, you're the youngest. Are there others in between?
Yeah, so we actually have a sister that's older than us, and then two brothers in between us. So there's 5 kids total. The 2 in between, one of them never interested in snakes. One of them he likes snakes, but he's not as into it as me and Josh are. So.
Well, thank you. You answered my next question. Jason doesn't have any questions, but that was going to be my next question. So you beat me to it. Pope County is saying, will I floss? No, but I am prepared to floss, but I won't do it on camera. Thank you very much for questioning my hygiene. I appreciate that. So John's Professor says, that's what you should do, Jason. Bash heads with Brian to figure out your conflict style. You know, guys, like I told you, this is like
took you so long to bring this one up.
Domestic violence. He has one image he portrays publicly, but off camera it's a whole different scene. The abuse that I deal with, but I'm not going to talk any more about it because then he will beat me.
Next week, Brian's going to show up with a black eye and say he walked into a door.
You see, and he admits it. All right, so what are you guys doing? You said that you split up the work. I mean, that's awesome. Do you have jobs outside of the reptile world, or have you guys delved 100% yet?
Not quite yet. So both of us are working full-time jobs outside of it. So we're busy guys. We're going to work, and our schedules are kind of interesting because mine's a pretty stable schedule. Josh's changes. He doesn't work consistent days of the week or consistent hours, but he's still working full-time hours. So each week we have to go through a little planning session for the week and make sure that we're able to fit everything in. But yeah, that was a long answer to your short question. Yeah, we're both working outside jobs with the goal of eventually hopefully being able to do our own thing full-time. or multiple of our own things full time.
I anticipate you have a goal date.
Yep. So what I would say 2 years from this season, we would like to be completely on our own.
Honestly, a lot of it, I guess, for the snake aspect of side is really contingent on us hitting the odds.
Yeah.
Like, as if we hit some crazy like triple head to triple head odds, like a single snake can make up a year's worth of income. Like,
yeah. So it is contingent. I would say the longest it would take is 2 years from now. It could possibly happen in not this breeding season, but the following season. It could happen as early as that. But by 2 years from now, we for sure want to figure out how we can be completely independent from working on people's time.
Now, Josh, here's the only problem. If you do hit that beast of an animal, you're not selling it.
No, yeah, absolutely not. I mean, especially with us having a good rodent supply and being able to get them up in a reasonable time period, can put that thing right back to them the next year. But just having the just knowing that you have a $40,000 animal going to, let's say it's a male, you can get it to 3 females. Just having that reassurance that the offspring will easily be able to offset any expenses you have will just be good enough for me to leave my job.
Yeah. Another sorry,
Go ahead. No, you're the guest, man.
We're dabbling with is potentially the rodent market. So we're figuring out how to breed rodents, and we've been doing good at that. There's still a few things that we need to fine tune, but at probably within the next 2 or 3 months, we'll have a lot of excess. So we'll start selling some of that off and seeing how it goes. But if we can pay our bills at least with the excess rodent supply, then we'd be in a really, really good spot.
So you actually segued to where I wanted to go, and that's why I was talking about the escapees. But before we do that, and this actually helps us segue to it, the question as well. Jack from Inflicted Exotics is asking, how many snakes are you up to as of now?
Let's see. I think right around 100 that we are. Like, out of all the holdbacks, we don't have anything
100
else for
ball
sale.
pythons,
Yeah.
and then we also have some other species. So I would say all reptiles considered 120. One of those being a lizard. The rest of them are snakes.
Yeah, most of the time, once you hit that 100 range, you really don't know the exact number. You have that range, so it's understandable. But 100 mouths to feed, or in excess of 100 mouths to feed, it's impressive to hear that you will have excess or surplus food. I mean, that's difficult, and that's a job in itself.
It is.
Now,
We put it down with 2 sets of hands. We can get the rodent job done pretty, I'd say, reasonably fast.
Yeah,
so
we probably could spend around like 5 hours every week just on rodents to supply our collection consistently throughout the year.
And have extra. So we ended up buying an ARS rack, which was super helpful. It just made it easy. We didn't have to spend the time building the racks. And obviously that was a big chunk of money. So our first thing to pay back with rodents will be that rack. But after we can break even on that, it'll be going back towards helping pay the other bills. The reason why we decided to do that, though, is just because I trust the professionally made stuff more than I trust my own construction. I've had too many experiences where I build something and got rodent chew outs, and I personally, I just didn't want to deal with that for myself because I didn't.
That was my next question. I wanted you to at least, support me a little bit and share your experience with chew outs, because I know I'm not the only one. These people want to act like they're perfect.
No, you're not the only one at all, because that happens to a lot of people. Even like some of the earlier professionally made racks, there's a lot of chew outs out of those. So at this point in time, the ARS racks, and I know like Freedom Breeder, they make pretty good racks where they figured out the science to having no chew outs. I do have a few of my own homemade racks, but I decided to go with like these, like the catering pans, the metal catering pans.
Yeah, like, I know very well.
20 inches. So we use those as our mouse breeding colonies. And we were doing ASFs in there for a little while as well before we expanded into this bigger rack. So we didn't have any chew outs there, luckily. But when I was in college, I had a little homemade rack. It was like, I think 3 or 4 tiers. And they would just chew out every single tub I would put them in. There's chew outs. So it got to a point where I was so busy with college. This is pretty nasty story, maybe. I don't know. My dad would be completely freaked out. But they chewed out, and I would just close the room, the door to my room, make sure they couldn't get out of there. But then they would go climb back up into their tub and then at night they would run around on the floor. And I was in a lofted bed. Josh doesn't even know this story. I was in a lofted bed, so they would run around at night. That happened for like 3 days. So I just literally had no time. I had like a bunch of tests that week. And so yeah, there's a few day span where they're just running around the room. It was pretty bad. It's no fun, but it's definitely a good idea to get your rodents in a dedicated room, so that way they're not messing up the rest of the house or facility or whatever you're keeping them.
No, you're 100% right. I have a 10-pan homemade rack in I do ASF small colonies in there.
Sure.
Like a 3 or 4, primarily 3 to 1s in there, just to keep some hatchling food going. And they don't chew out of there. But before I had fixed the little door on the hopper, they would escape through there because you have the 1/2-inch hardware mat there, and then they push up the gate. But I tucked it all in. Now they don't escape anymore. But I'm like, damn, these bastards. They're not chewing out through there. How are they escaping? So yeah, you gotta love all the little escapees.
Yeah.
All right. So what's coming up? What's coming up from Gen Z? What can we look forward to? And let's say, well, you have your 2-year goal. What can we look forward to in the next year?
In the next year.
So in the next year, we're going to be fully moving into my new house, which we're calling the new facility. The entire bottom level of the house is dedicated to the Gen Z Reptiles business. So we'll be doing snakes down there. We currently have rodents down there. We might move them to outdoor. We might move them to a garage or something like that. But within this next year, we're going to be moving all the snakes from here over to the new facility. And then we also want to keep improving. I think YouTube would be the biggest area of focus for social media. We want to keep putting out better and more entertaining videos for people. We found some of the discussion-based videos do quite well. So maybe get more creative with those.
And then as for the collection wise, we want to continue to downsize on like the normals and the lower count genes and just keep improving the gene density and multi-recessive long-term projects as well.
Yeah, so this year we're probably going to be hitting around, what do you think, 30 clutches max?
Yeah.
At one point in time we were like, yeah, we'd love to hit 100 clutches, but you can have a super potent collection, hit 20 clutches, and be super happy with your day-to-day. That gives you time to look at every single snake, hang out with snakes, not have to be working all the time, especially since we have our outside jobs. But like, you can have a clutch that's worth $1,000, or you can have a clutch that's worth $20,000. It's going to be the same amount of preparation work, same amount of cleaning work. So yeah, with us, we're trying to just refine the gene counts, make sure that we're having products that we're really passionate about and not just these hobby level animals that I started out with that make up the bulk of our breeding collection. Because like right now we have single gene pastel, single gene lesser, single gene black pastel. So all these like super basic genes, and they lay big clutches, which is great for the time being. But yeah, we're definitely in that transition phase where hopefully by next year we will cut down on those at least by 50%, and try to replace them with holdbacks from this past year, etc. So
Pope County wants to know, how many clutches did you guys hit last year?
We did 20 clutches last year, exactly 20. And I think that was like what 120 babies.
120 babies exactly. Yeah. What about you two? How many clutches are y'all working with?
Right now, I don't have any. I suck.
None.
I suck. Well, actually, the whole ball python thing, and we spoke about it. It's my son's thing. So he hit 5 clutches last year. I was in a partnership. We hit close to 30 with 200 plus eggs last year, and his goal was 5 clutches, and he hit the 5 clutches. This year, he wants to keep it around 5 clutches, but he'll do more pairings. And so far, he has 5 pairings going. We've witnessed locks on all of them, but this week they were all paired and not one visual lock. So Jason, has a green screen behind him. Those aren't real tubs.
It's like camo constrictors like Matt has.
So you mentioned camo constrictors, and I just want you guys to keep camo constrictors in your thoughts and prayers. He had a horrible situation occur recently where his facility was broken into and his animals were murdered. It's atrocious, an atrocity to say the least. So please reach out to him and just send him some good vibes, and we'll all pull together and we'll figure this one out. But it's really a really sad situation. What are you guys doing as far as merchandise and branding?
So right now we just have a couple of t-shirt prototypes. We're really trying to make sure the quality of them is as good as this Morph Market US Art shirt, because this thing is super comfortable. So we want ours to be the same. Other than that, we were thinking about like stickers and stuff as well, but
yeah, that's definitely an area that we're lacking on. So
sure.
we've had a couple of t-shirt prototypes and we just haven't been happy with them yet. So we don't want to order any that we're not happy with. So we're still fine-tuning that. But to be completely honest with you, that hasn't been our first priority at the moment. But by the end, by Tinley is when we're hoping to have shirts that we can hand out to people that we know. So
yeah, we just updated our logo in January, so I guess it's in a couple months.
Yeah,
now,
it's in
so
a couple months.
We are slacking, but that's
so Samson and I get a lot of shirts in the mail. I'm an extra large. Samson is an adult small. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about Jason. It's international shipping. We're used to seeing him in his. Another one, Jason. Another one. We're used to seeing him in his white hoodie. Then I got this bad mamma jamma, and this came from Canada. I can't wait to open that one. So Military Morphs, we've had them on the show. They said to hit them up. They can help you with logos for merch. But I think that you guys have your logos, right?
We have the logo. Yeah, it's the quality of the logo. So we still might ask for some assistance on that because we're having troubles figuring out how to render our 2XL for you, buddy.
Just for the record, this is an XL, and I ate salad all week, okay? And look, they still move. They just move, and they keep moving when I stop. That's all. So you guys put a lot of thought in. You're very intentional, and I love it. I mean, you're very intentional. Where in today's ball python world, everybody gets a snake and they're already breeders. As soon as they get their first snake, they don't even have anything to pair it to. It's 86 grams and they're already a breeder, and it's posted on Instagram, and they start joining all the reptile groups. They have their logo, they have stickers, they have t-shirts, and they still haven't gotten the sire for this. Or actually, they haven't gotten the female because they usually have the male first, and then they'll have 4 or 5 males because they got them on Craigslist at cheap prices. So that's really interesting to see that you've been doing this for so many years now, and it's kind of been on the back burner without much concern. Now, have you gotten any grief for it? Like when people see you at the show, like, where's my sticker?
Actually, surprisingly not. We do feel bad because we do get a lot of stickers at the shows, and we're like, sorry, we don't have any. So yeah, we should probably step up our game with the stickers. That'd be awesome. We would love that. Yeah, that's one thing I think we're struggling with, the quality of PNG, pixel adjustment, all that. But anyway, yeah, with the sticker, we got to step it up. That's definitely. We've been doing so much of our sales online and so much of our connecting online.
Like social media marketing has just been ridiculous for us. So.
Yeah, so that's where we definitely have focused most of our time. That's our highest return for the amount of time that we have outside of our full job. So, yeah, we're kind of at a point, though, where we're trying to systemize as much as possible. So get everything written down in our... basically get a manual for Gen Z Reptiles. How do we run everything? Make sure that everything we do on a weekly basis or a quarterly basis is consistent, and that will really help us free up our time. So that way we're not thinking every single week, all right, what do we need to do? We have our ideas already down pat, so that way we can start working on these additional things that we want to focus on.
All right, so hold on. You're creating an SOP manual for Gen Z Reptiles?
We're working on it, yes.
I love it. I love it. And you people make fun of me because of my spreadsheets. Okay, I love it. I am currently working on more stickers for us. That's great to hear, Puzzling Exotics, but I also want to hear how many pairings do you have going? They're going for 30 clutches this year. Could be worse, sticker breeder that doesn't send back stickers. I don't know if you are going at hashtag Hugh or do I owe you stickers? Because there's a good chance I owe you stickers. And we have stickers. I'm just horrible at getting it out. So I apologize to anyone that I owe any stickers except for Jason. Holy cow, this guy sent wood. You sent wood. Is that like a maple tree? Did you cut a maple tree?
Just fucking keeps shitting on me, eh? And then he gets this fucking great swag pack, and what does he do? He shits on me for it. It's just fucking never ending.
This guy,
I don't know how you take it.
You're trying to make me like you. I don't want to like you. I like not like you.
God. It's
Look
nothing
at
special
this.
for you, dipshit. I told you before, I was trying out some new ideas, and I'd send it to you and see how it fucking worked. Don't think you're special.
Holy cow. Just admit it. You like me.
Yeah. I love the abuse. I
Are
don't
these
have
your
enough problems
colors?
in my
Look at
life.
this.
I need more.
Wow. That is like, I don't even want to cut it. Holy, look at the
Some
size
people
of the
put some
wax
fucking
seal
style
on
into what
that.
they do, and some people are cop-outs. Ryan.
That's like freaking Game of Thrones
That's nice.
swag.
That's really nice.
Is this real maple? Is this real maple?
Yeah. I grew it, chopped it down, planed it, and assembled it. Just for you, buddy.
Wow. I'm still not sending you a Christmas gift.
I don't expect one.
And you're still not my favorite Canadian. I saw British Columbia in here. He's ranked above you. And quite a few others. So
That's no surprise coming out of you, buddy.
So all jokes aside, thank you. I'll let Samson open it. This is actually has to be the most impressive. It's just mind-boggling it came from you. This has to be the most impressive package I've ever received. Wow, that's really, really nice.
He hasn't even opened it yet, so he doesn't know.
You got me emotional. No, I'm just talking about the packaging. Like wow, this is just
that's good because your shirt's a double XL, asshole.
No, and no pressure, Gen Z. No pressure, gentlemen. All right, but I expect something like this. Okay, all right. Thank you. All right. So yes, damn, that's classy. He is one classy bitch, ain't he? Damn, he must have his hand a lot of extra time. Ooh, solid. Look at this. Jason got more shout outs today, all because of a wood box. All right. And any sales that are made on this show, I already told you guys I get a 10% finder's fee. Speaking about sales, do you guys have any available animals? I know you have an amazing social media presence. You're moving animals rapidly. Do you currently have any available animals or you're waiting?
Yeah, we just recently sold out of our stock from last season. I think we shipped out. I think we have like 2 more to ship out. But yeah,
yep,
we're all out.
So yeah, for this season we're out. We do have 5 clutches in the incubator as it sits. So they're pretty fresh clutches. So in about 2 months we should be seeing some of our first babies, and then hopefully about 3 to 4 months from now we'll have a decent amount of stuff available.
Awesome. I think that's awesome. It's great when you don't have anything available.
Yeah,
it's a nice little
problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, and it's a nice little break. We were sitting on stuff throughout the winter, and then tax season came around, and that kind of sealed the deal. We didn't have very much left, but we did have a few key animals left, and
it's funny how those ebbs and lows come, eh? When tax season, the snake sales go up.
It's funny.
Now you mentioned earlier if you've been holding an animal back, if you've been holding on to an animal for an extended period of time, then you would consider any offer, not any offers, you would consider offers. So you do have a strategy and you do change your strategy as time goes on.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a case-by-case basis. When we're in the height of the season, we'll be pretty firm in our prices just because there's a lot of stuff available, and we price our stuff where we feel it's a very fair price and very appropriate price for the project. So we're not going to be wavering very much on that. But if there's a snake that's been sitting on there for a decent chunk of time, and it's getting either close to like winter when we're not going to be able to ship or something like that, somebody asks if they can do an $1,800 snake for $1,600 or something like that, we can work with you.
Yeah,
but
otherwise,
we're not going to cut it in half.
Otherwise, like we always tell people, if you buy multiple snakes, we'll give you a deal as well, just because it saves on shipping. So
yeah, save some time, save some shipping. So we definitely do offer the package deal, if you will, a little bit of a discount there.
Jason actually loves giving 80% discounts. Okay. He gets those.
He doesn't like money or something.
He's rich. He's filthy rich.
That's a charity thing for me. This is all philanthropy work. I mean, this is why I'm on here with Brian. I've said it before. This is how I give back. I'm due so many community hours in a year.
I see.
So you guys you have your own rodents going on. Are you feeding live or frozen thawed?
We're doing live. We get the best feeding response on that. So.
Okay, now, and you also mentioned you have a mouse rack. What are you offering your animals? Is it just mice, Norwegians, ASF, a little bit of everything, or do you keep it?
So there's a little bit of thought that goes into that. I'd say a lot of thought that goes into that. Snakes that we anticipate that we will be selling, they get racked. Yeah, if you got any of those 100% discounts, definitely let us know.
Well, he actually wanted.
Keep watching the show, man.
He won a snake.
That's what happened.
Ago, so he did get a
watch the show, and we decided to give one away.
He got 100% discount, and I got $100 shipping.
Oh my god! Because I don't have to pay anything, right? I didn't fucking hatch the snake. It wasn't my time or my resources put into the animal. I don't have to pay half the shipping. Just Brian. He's the only one that has to pay half the shipping.
I'm just saying, he just put me on the spot. He put me on the spot and made me pay half the shipping.
You put me on the spot every week for 69 weeks, and then when I go off, you cut me off.
69
with my
weeks.
own fucking intro video.
And you're complaining I'm marketing for you.
Is that what you call it?
This is I'm marketing Canadian Reptile Adventures. You had 3 followers on Instagram when you met me. Now you have thousands, okay? Come on, guy. I mean,
yeah. Thank you, Brian.
And now I met Gen Z. I'm going to have 10,000 after meeting Gen Z. All right? I'm going to ride their wave because your wave
Be aware,
sucks.
gentlemen, he will now take credit for everything you do successfully. Just be aware, Brian's going to expect his 10%. Don't be surprised when the letter shows up.
The difference is when I met them, they were already successful. That is the difference.
Oh, wow. Are we done yet?
Not yet. I got more, man.
Fuck, another 2.5 minutes of this shit? Fuck.
I got. That's what your girl says.
Oh my lord!
All right, so gentlemen, you're feeding. You're preparing the rats, obviously, because I don't know. I think those are myths. To be honest with you, I've had I only feed ASF, and we've never had an issue whether it's hatchling or adult for transition. Nor has there been an issue to frozen thawed. I've had 1 or 2 people have a little bit of a hiccup getting their animal to eat once they received it, and usually it had something to do with husbandry, or it was just a difference in environment and the transition.
So the reason we do it is just for other people's peace of mind, if you will. It's just a lot easier to just be like, oh yeah, it's been on rats, than to say, hey, we've been working it onto ASFs, and they get it and they're like, hey, it won't eat for me. Well, we just do it on the rats. The rats produce pretty well. We'll get them on rats for them. We start a lot of stuff actually off on a mouse, a hopper mouse. And then another reason why we had the mice is that we have children's pythons and king snakes. Not a lot of them, but when you hatch out like 30, I think we had last year, a little over 30. That's a lot of pinkies to be feeding off. So you'll need litters popping quite a bit every single, like probably about every 5 days is when you'll feed those when they first start out. So that's what we're doing a lot of the mice. And then we also have a couple of snakes that we bought as adults that just are mousers. Mm-hmm. They don't want to take anything else, even the ASFs they won't take, just mice. So it's nice to have mice on hand. But yeah, we predominantly feed ASFs as well. Just a few that we'll do rats for.
So mousers, let me tell you, just a little thing, guys. If a female's a mouser, you might not want to breed her. I would recommend mousers as pets. Usually, if they're mousers, you're just going to have issues down the road. It's just been something that we've experienced.
Like what kind of issues? Like
If it's a mouse, it's going to be hard to build. It's going to be hard to build, get to the right size, or you're going to be feeding multiple mice. And if you're feeding multiple mice, then they're overworking their digestive system. Mouses are just headaches. They're just headaches.
yeah, I mean we've had luck with them. One of our clutches that just was laid was a 7-egg clutch, and a beautiful clutch. Everything worked out well. So it could be like you said, maybe it's just a more long-term thing where you have issues. For now, it's fine, but yeah, like we're gonna start trying to transition as much as we can over to the African softwares. We've just seen by far
I think it's easier
the response and the best
for a mouser. For a mouser, it's easier. I mean, it is easier to switch them over. Technically, I think they're closer to mice than they are to rats. ASFs, even though everybody calls them rats, but I think it's easier to make that transition. It's just also financial, when people have to buy multiple mice instead of one adequately sized rat. So it's just a whole bunch of factors. Everybody doesn't have a mouse factory, at their location, right, buddy?
For sure. Yep.
No, I get it. All right, so you guys are crushing it on social media. You seem to be very, very goal oriented, and I think that's awesome. It's one of the things I'm always practicing. What do you do? How do you monitor and assess your goals? Like, do you switch it up at a certain point when maybe things aren't going according to plan, whether it's growing out an animal, whether it's pairings, whether it's clutch count? Do you switch things up at a certain point, or you just stick to the script and see what happens?
Yeah, we pretty much try to go with the flow and try and crush our goals in that sense, and just try and be as consistent as possible. But
yeah, well, when keeping animals, you can never fully predict what's going to happen. You can be like, oh, I would love to have this clutch, I'd love to have that clutch, but like there are times where snakes are just not compatible. They just don't want to lock with each other. What do you do about that? You can't really do much. So in those kind of cases, we do adapt. And this breeding season was our biggest number of pairs so far. So that was something we had to adjust a decent amount this time with the incompatibilities and stuff like that. So I think in this industry, you have to be adaptable. You have to be able to fluctuate. But I would say in terms of like social media, that's easier to quantify because we want to have this amount of followers by this date. And if the follower count helps us know that we're putting out content that people appreciate. So it's like the numbers are to a certain extent numbers, but we want to make sure that we're seeing some sort of a growth because that means that we're providing content that other people like. And also it's the content that we're creating, we also have to enjoy it too. Otherwise it's not worth it for us. So if we're able to meet that kind of cross section where we're producing content, the equilibrium, whatever, that happy medium where we're producing content that we enjoy, and also it's pleasing the crowd that's watching, that's really good for us. But I'd say the metrics for that is definitely follower count, video duration, how long are people watching the videos. YouTube analytics are really cool because they give you a lot of information. So we're paying attention to that. But we used to be like, we need to make a 10-minute video every single week. And then we adjusted it to, well, who cares if we're making a 10-minute video if people are only watching for 2 minutes? So it's like, maybe we should make a 3-minute video that they're watching the entire thing of. We never went down to that short of a time, but that was, that's kind of the thinking. A simplified version of the thinking is like, let's make a more potent, shorter video. Instead of being like, we need 10 minutes, let's make it however long this video comes out to be, let's make it something that's entertaining for the entire duration of the video. So we're looking at view count, subscriber count, follower counts, view duration. There's a lot of metrics from that standpoint. In terms of snakes, we do want to hit certain pairings, like we said, but yeah, you're definitely adjusting with that. And Josh is really good at coming up with the contingency plans for those, just because he's more particular on the outcomes and he's always calculating potential clutch value. So best case scenario, worst case scenario, what would be the most ideal replacement, male or something from that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else? How else do we track our goals?
That's a great question.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a week by week schedule we come up with. So it's not there's things that we have to obviously get done every single week. So that's not like big picture goals, but it's our weekly goals, something that when we can cross that off the list, it feels good. So every single week we need to make sure that we're going through the snakes. And we usually do, we usually at minimum go through once, and then a lot of times throughout the week when we're pulling tubs open and stuff like that, if there's something dirty, we'll change it as needed. But for sure, once a week we go through every single cage. And then we also once a week have to go through every single rodent cage. So those are two big things we go through every single week. We need to make a YouTube video. There's a lot of different parts that come into making this YouTube video. So we know that every single week at some point in the time we have to schedule in a YouTube video. And a lot of times we're thinking about these ideas throughout the entire week. So that way, by the time we get to filming, we have that goal checked off the list. What other things we do on a regular basis?
Well, I guess just to like summarize that up, we're trying to be as consistent and as efficient as possible on a weekly basis to smash our weekly goals so that our big picture goals all come together, I guess, on an annual basis.
That's a good way to put it.
So who's the main driving force? Who's the one that's always like, okay, come on, we got to get this done. Let's go.
He's a lot more organized. I would say I'm more of like a go with the flow creative type. Josh is very organized. And so I feel like we make a good team, but I wouldn't be able to do this without his organization, because he's the one who's like, all right, we need to make sure that we're putting out this amount of content. And then he's the one he spends a lot more time with the analytical data. I really enjoy it, but he's the one who's every time there's an update, he's looking at it. So I'd say it's a good dynamic, because we tend to when we get the data, we tend to have the same conclusions. So the way that the conclusions we draw from our data are pretty similar always, but he's the one who's really like in real time keeping up with it. And I'm more of like, all right, I want to see a week's worth or a month's worth in order for me.
Yeah, Jason's good at putting in the work, but I feel like it's helpful to have like a blocked out schedule for him, just because he does put in a lot of work with his full-time job as well. So having it all blocked out and knowing this day of the week we're doing this can just help him mentally.
I really like I like the way you guys, you just have a really good dynamic there. It's kind of hard to tell that you're brothers, because number one, you don't look very much alike, and number two, usually there's just always sibling rivalry, and you guys just seem to just fall into roles, and you appreciate each other's role, which is huge, and I commend you both for that. There's a big success factor when you're able to suspend your egos, and it seems like you both do that very, very easily. So kudos to both of you for that. H&M Exotics is asking, what's your biggest goal animal to produce? And I guess we can do that based off of your pairings or your anticipated clutches this season.
This season, gosh,
Wookiee Pied probably.
Yeah, so we got a potential for our first clutch to hit a Wookiee Pied, and I think that'd be a world's first combination. But very closely second to that, our Dinker Project girl just laid a clutch, and we posted that on Instagram today. So that's probably up there as well for us.
Yeah, that'll be a really exciting clutch, because she's similar in color palette to like the chocolates, mahogany, Wookiee, stranger-esque type of, like that more darker brown color.
Intensity.
Yeah. So she's different enough that we think it could be a different gene. She was an imported animal originally from Africa. I'm assuming farm raised, but it's through Nerd. And so that would be really exciting to see if that passes on to the offspring. And if it does, then we'll do obviously some test pairings, see if it is just a slightly different iteration of a gene that's already out there, or if it is its own standalone thing. But that's a really fun project for us and exciting for us, just because it's something that's different and new, and that potentially nobody else is working with this same exact gene. If it does prove out to be its own thing,
or a new line. No, that's always exciting if you're able to introduce something that no one else has. That's definitely. We have two girls that will be ready to go this year. We just haven't figured out what to do with them, but they're called a Meteor. They were brought in a few years ago. We pretty much have the only Meteors left, and it's going to be fun working them now that they're up to size. So I definitely appreciate that. What's the Pied and Joy Reptiles wants to know, what's the next big project you want to start working with?
We'll give two answers to this. So one is we're building the building blocks right now. We're creating the building blocks for the axanthic Desert Ghost project. We think there's a lot of really neat potential with that. And John Zaig, he's JD Constriction. He's making a lot of those really cool black and white animals. So we definitely pull some inspiration from that. So DJ Xanthic, and then eventually what will we want to get into?
Monsoon for sure.
Monsoon is definitely a project that we're looking into. It's super expensive, and so it's not the most accessible project, and there's not very many available at this point in time. But we think that it could just be a cool new wave to ride. There's not very many Monsoon combinations out there at this point in time, so there's also a lot of potential for it to just muddy out and be a really expensive, ugly snake. So we're hoping to take it in a direction that helps keep it clean, maintain the integrity of that pattern in there, and just switch up the color palette underneath that pattern.
I dig it. So there's a really, really important question. I know you guys have been on other shows, but I'm pretty confident no one's ever asked you this question. KY or Vaseline?
Don't let me down, boys.
KY.
KY.
That was a really good response, and it was the correct response.
Oh
And
my God.
this is why I am extremely confident that you guys will continue to be extremely successful, and you're going to reach certain pinnacles of success only imaginable to people.
Oh.
KY jelly, baby.
I
Yeah.
will say, in Jason's defense, I don't think there's anything wrong with Vaseline.
Well, the only reason why he uses it is that he always has it handy.
Oh my Lord. Unfucking
Well, listen, Jason, you have any questions before we sign off? We've already crossed the hour mark. You two are kicking ass. I really appreciate you guys gifting us the gift of time, especially getting both of you on the show. To see this dynamic, this brotherly dynamic, to have a 7-year age gap, to be the oldest, to be the youngest, yet to just have such what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Come on, you guys are intelligent. Help me out. I won't ask Jason. He won't know the word I'm looking for.
So notice how he asked me a question and then just started talking for like a minute? Didn't even give me any,
All right, so before I'll remember the word, Jason. What do you want to ask before we sign?
I don't want to get anything. I'm just pointing out that you didn't even give me the opportunity to fucking ask the question to begin with. Gee, why does Jason abuse him? Why? I don't know.
Shout out to DTMG, our sponsor for the show, and the word did come to me: synergy. Synergy.
Oh fuck! Thank God.
That's the word right there, synergy. To see the synergy. I see Drumbo in the house. What's up, Alan? I saw you doing your sexy modeling. Whoa. Definitely a good show, guys. Definitely appreciate it. You just seem like a breath of fresh air, and you're just bringing certain skill sets to the table that I'm hoping others will learn from. I've been talking about, I have a background in data collection, and I've been talking about the importance of data. I always talk about the importance of goal setting, and you're using those skill sets, and you're crushing it.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that.
And you're crushing it in different realms. So if you guys don't want to listen to me, I don't give a shit. Listen to them, okay? Listen to them. They're doing it. Sure as hell, don't listen to that guy over there. But these two guys over here, they're getting it done. You guys have yourselves an amazing Easter weekend. Keep killing it. And if you ever have any questions or want to bounce any ideas off of someone with intelligence, reach out to me. Don't reach out to that guy. All right?
All right, sounds good. Justin, do you ever make it down? Jason, do you ever make it down to the States for any reptile expos?
I have not been to the States in a few years now. I'd like to, but unfortunately with Dictator,
yeah.
we're kind of in a situation at this point in time. So
Yeah, I understand. Well, hopefully it can happen at some point in time. We'd love to see you in person, and hopefully,
Thank you, gentlemen. I would very much like to get out there at some
let's
point.
chop it up in person at some
Yeah,
point. But
yeah.
100%.
yeah,
I was
we
gonna
know
say.
we'll see you. The CEO's pops. We run into y'all at.
Yeah, we'll run into each other, but I'm just gonna let you know in advance. You meet Jason, you're gonna be extremely disappointed.
Oh, come on.
I'm
Never
just kidding.
stops.
69 weeks of this in a row. Obviously, the guy's grown on me, but so do hemorrhoids and so do warts, right?
Oh my god.
Guys,
You
you
couldn't
all
even say a
have,
tumor, eh? It's got to be a wart. You're a dick.
you all have an amazing weekend, and all of you that gifted us your time today, you have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.